Okay. So in Perek Shlishit, we're talking about the conditions, the prerequisites, the things that the person who's having bitachon has to do. Right? Perek Sheni was the 7 conditions that the one we're trusting in must have. And now in Perek Shlishit, the beginning of it, is the 5 things that I, who am the boiteach, must have. The first ones that I have to believe that the Eibishter has all these 7 conditions, because in order for me to be able to have bitachon, since the one I'm having bitachon has to have these 7 conditions, I have to firmly believe that the Eibishter has these 7 conditions. The second one is that I have to be certain that Hashem sees my outside and my inside, and Hashem knows if I'm having bitachon or not. There's no tricking or hiding from the Eibishter. Hakdama Shlishit. The third of 5 introductions is Sheyached Elikov b'bitchonei boy. Hashem is alone in your trust in Him. B'mashu chayiv liftoyach boy, that you're obligated to trust in the Eibishter, ve'al yishatev zulasoi imoy. You can't have a partner. I trust the Eibishter and I also trust my parents. I trust the Eibishter and I also trust the doctor. I trust the Eibishter and I also trust the rich man. There's no also. It's the Eibishter and the Eibishter alone. Ve'al yishatev zulasoi imoy. Don't make a partner with Hashem. V'yiftach alav v'al echad me'abruim. I'll trust the Eibishter and one of the creations. V'yipaseid bitchonoi belikov. You will lose, you will ruin your trust in Hashem. V'hishtatev zulasoi imoy. When you combine someone else with the Eibishter, you take away. There's the general idea. It's called al-moisiv gereya. You add, you're taking away. Here the point is you're undermining the whole concept of bitachon if you're not only for the Eibishter, but you're mixing someone else in. Or it brings a raya. Ukvar yodaito ma shenemar ba'asa. You know what it says about Asa? Asa was one of the Malchei Yehuda. He was a great grandson of Shlomo HaMelech. He was known to be one of the tzaddikim, one of the righteous kings. So he says about Asa, im chasidusoi, together with the fact that he was a big chassid, a very righteous person, there was a problem, eis shesamach al hareifim. When he was sick, and then he relied on the doctors. The chsiv, it says, v'gam b'chol yoy, when he was sick, loidorash es Hashem, he did not search out the Eibishter, ki baroifim, rather the doctors. So again, as we're going to learn later, you have to have bitachon in the Eibishter, and then you have to go make your keli. You got to go to the doctors. It's not like you don't go to the doctors. You go to the doctors because you're relying on the Eibishter, who said that this is what you have to do to make a keli. But otherwise, if you're placing your trust in the doctors, v'nena shall say, he was punished. Amar HaKosov, the pasuk says, Baruch HaGever sheyiftach ba'Hashem, v'ya Hashem iftach. Blessed is the person who trusts in the Eibishter, and his support, his reliance is in Hashem. That's it. So the third condition is that we fully and only trust in the Eibishter. We don't bring in anything else that should have koyach. Min hayodua, he says it is well known. Ki mi sheyemane mibnei adam shnei mimunim. If you appoint 2 people in charge, or yoser or more, lasses davar to do one thing, minuyoi, his appointments, mufsad, will be ruined, will be lost. You can't have 2 people on the top. There's one person who has to be in charge. You can appoint many people with each one having their own thing that they're in charge of. But when you put 2 people in charge of the same thing, so manavshach, if each one of them is capable themselves, so then they're in their minds, they can rely, I don't need to do it. The other guy knows what he's doing anyway. So then you end up not getting it done because each person is relying on the other one. And certainly if they're not capable, then it isn't going to help you either. So we have to realize that there's only one. You can't have two. The Gemara says, a kedera de beishutfe lechamima v'lekririr, lekririr v'lechamima. Too many cooks spoil the broth. When you have too many cooks taking care of a pot, so it's not hot enough, it's not cold enough. It's moving it like this. You want to get something done, the buck stops here. There's got to be one guy in charge. Otherwise, everyone's throwing it. Something as simple as Chanukah Mivtzayim. This guy's doing this, this guy's doing it. If there's no one guy in charge who's overseeing, able to keep track of what is doing and what is getting done, and at the end of the day, he's not relying on anyone else. It doesn't mean he doesn't trust people or designating, you do this, you do that. But at the end of the day, there's one person taking care of it. I don't know if it applies. I don't think the saying was said for this, but when I was younger, I remember once hearing a saying, it's lonely on the top. On the top, it's lonely. A person who's in charge, inevitably, it's so lonely because you can't share that responsibility. Because at the end of the day, there's got to be one person. Is kolshkein certain? That's the way it is by people. If you put two equal people in charge, it's going to get ruined. Kolshkein certainly. He decides to trust, rely on the Eibishter and someone else. His trust is going to be undermined. It's not going to work. This will be a strong cause to withhold what he was trusting for. Like it says, cursed is the person Asher yiftach ba'adam, that places his trust in man. V'sam basar zeroyoi, and he places flesh as his strength. He relies on a person. U'min Hashem yasur liboy, and his heart turns away from the Eibishter. So, at the end of the day, after understanding that we have to trust in the Eibishter because he has all the things that we need to be able to trust. And then the second one, knowing that the Eibishter sees inside and outside. Number 3 is that my bitachon is in the Eibishter. If my bitachon is only on the Eibishter, then I also recognize no one else has any power. I don't attribute any koyach to anyone else. I'm not worried about anyone else. It's all the Eibishter. I don't have to worry. It's not like, Hashem's going to take care of me, but what happens if someone decides they want to do something to me? It doesn't work like that. There's only one. The Eibishter is completely in charge. So from my side, in order to have bitachon, I have to be certain within myself that there's only the Eibishter. Hakdama Shlishit, the 4th introduction. Sheti hashgachasoi chazaka v'hishtadlusoi gedola. His guarding is strong and his effort is great. That means me, the person who's having bitachon, puts in the effort. There's the positive and the negative here, hashgacha, to make sure that he doesn't do anything wrong. That's sur meira. Hishtadlusoi gedola, his efforts, that's already asay toiv. Lekayim mashechivu b'abayim avidasei. The 4th one is, try to be a from a yid. The 4th one is, try to do what the Eibishter wants you to do. If you're relying on the Eibishter, and this Eibishter, this one that you're relying on, is asking you to do things, doesn't it make sense that you should be doing it? To do his mitzvahs, lizor masher yizhirei mimenu, and be careful with what he told you not to do. Kifi masher hu mevakish, as he requests. Sheyia boire maskim loy, kifi masher hu mevakish, sheyia boire loy. So that the Eibishter will agree with what you want. If you want that the Eibishter should take care of you, it's only logical that you should quote unquote, take care of the Eibishter. What does it mean to take care of the one that you're trusting on? He asks you a favor. He asks you to do something. Do it. You're relying on this person to take care of you. He's asking you to do something. Do it. So you're going to say, I trust in the Eibishter, but I don't care what he says. That doesn't work. So the fourth Hakdama is that you're going to put in as much effort as possible. No one's asking for perfection. You're going to put in as much effort as possible to do what the Eibishter wants. So that the Eibishter will agree for the things that you're relying on the Eibishter to do for you. Like our Chachamim told us, make his will like your will, so that he should make your will like his will. You want the Eibishter to do what you want, do what the Eibishter wants. Nullify, put aside your will for his will, so that the Eibishter should put aside other people's wills for your will. And the pasuk says clearly, "Bitach ba'Hashem," trust in the Eibishter. Va'asei toiv. Your bitachon means being a from Yid. Your bitachon means do what the Eibishter wants from you. Shchan eretz rei emunah. V'amar toiv Hashem l'koivav. Hashem is good to those that put their trust in Hashem. L'nefesh tidrishenu, to the soul that seeks out what Hashem wants. Right? All those that put their hope in Hashem. But then there's the second step that you actually do, the nefesh tidrishenu, to those that seek out to do what the Eibishter wants. So it's only logical, that's the fourth condition, you want to rely on the Eibishter, do what he wants. Follow what he asks of you. But someone's going to trust the Creator of while he's trusting him, he's rebelling against him, he's not listening to him. Kamo sochol. How foolish is he? How unsmart is he? Kama daite chalusha, how weak is his understanding? V'akarase, in his recognition. Kihu royeh, it's so humanly logical. You see, kimisha nisman eloi mibnei adam al davar. Someone who was appointed by someone for something. So, I don't know, Ruvain was relying on Shimon to take care of something. Shimon's going to take care of something for him. And then Shimon tells Ruvain, I'm going to take care of this for you. I need you to do me a favor. And he asks Ruvain, to do something for him. Please, I'll take this to New York for you. Just, I need you to put my mail into my house. He warns him. And then he's not going to listen to what he was asked to do. So he's not going to follow what he wants. That is going to be a very strong and valid, quote unquote, reason why the guy who you asked is not going to do it for you. You understand? You're relying on someone to do something for you, and then the guy asks you a small favor, and I'm not doing it for you. He asked you to do something for him, you're not doing it, and you expect that he's going to do for you what you want. Same thing with the Eibishter. The Eibishter you're relying on the Eibishter. You're expecting the Eibishter to take care of you. You're having bitachon in the Eibishter. He's going to do everything good for you. Then the Eibishter asks you to do something. You say, don't worry about it. I'm fine without it. How does that make sense to rely on the Eibishter? So the fourth condition is, do whatever you can to be a psaf from a yid. Do the mitzvahs, tell the mitzvahs. Kol shkein. Certainly, misha avar chukei elikim mitzvahs. Someone who goes against the rules of Hashem and his mitzvahs. Hashem testified about them. If you don't listen, certainly the trust that you have in the Eibishter will be for naught, will be falsified, will not work out when you're going to rebel against the Eibishter. He doesn't deserve to be called someone who trusts in the Eibishter. Rather, he's like the pasuk says, "Kimatikvas chonef." What is the hope of a flatterer? Ki yivtza, when he steals. Ki yeshel elika nafshi, that Hashem will take out his soul. Hatza'akasa yishram akel. Will Hashem listen to his cries? He's not listening to the Eibishter, and he's going to turn around and expect the Eibishter to save him. V'amar, Yirmiyah says, the next three are all from one kapitel, 3 psukim in a row. Hagonoiv, you think you're going to steal, Rotzayach, murder, Noif, immoral relations, Hishavei al sheker, you're going to lie. V'amar, and then it says, Uvosem v'amantem lefanei b'bayis hazeh. You're going to do all these averis, you're going to come to the Beis HaMikdash, you're going to come to my house, Hashanik Shmiel love, that my name was called that. You're going to say, this is my place. I'm here in the Beis HaMikdash. What do you think this is? Omar Hamaras Paritzim Ayabayis Hazeh. You think this Beis HaMikdash is a cave for Paritzim who do all things wrong and then they run to the cave to escape? Hashanik Shmi Allah, my name is called on this. You think that's what the Beis HaMikdash is? You go do what you want, then you come here as if you're going to be saved over here. It doesn't work like that. If you want the Eibishter, you want to be able to rely on the Eibishter, condition number 4 is you put yourself out there. You do what the Eibishter wants. Hakdama Shlishit, the 5th introduction brings us to the topic of making a keli. The mixing of you rely on the Eibishter, and at the same time, you're going to have to do things yourself. You're going to have to put in effort. You can't just expect that, okay, I have haBitachon, and I don't have to do anything. And the reason for that is because the Eibishter wants you. Hashem blesses you in all that you do. Right? The Rabbi brings in a sicha that the Sifri says, the pasuk says, "V'racha Hashem lekecha," Hashem will bench you. And the Sifri says, "Yochol," I would think, if you read the pasuk, it says Hashem is benching you, right? So then Yochol yeshev ubatel. To have a mina, the Sifri says you might think you should sit and do nothing. What do you have to do? Why have to go out and work for? How much money you earn in the years decided by the Eibishter. I have to go work? Eibishter's going to give it to you by hook or by crook. He needs your help. In Inyan, it's logical. It makes sense. Who do you think you are? You're going to go arrange for the Eibishter to give you the money. The Eibishter will give it to you whether you want or you don't want. It has nothing to do with you. So that's a good machshava. Talmud loymar. It's like Zeres HaKosov, b'chol hashatase, and all you do. Why do you have to do? Because Eibishter wants you to do. He's going to discuss that a little bit over here, but that's the Nakuda. That we still have to put in effort. Hakdama Shlishit, the 5th introduction is she's bar etzlo. It should be clear to a person. Ki ashlomas hadvarim, the completion of matters, hamischatshim b'olam hazeh, that are happening, that are new in this world, la'achar hayitzira, after the initial creation, Hashem created the world is functioning. Anything new that happens, hu mishnei dvarim, is with 2 things. Echad mehem, one of them is gezeiras haboire yisal. Hashem decrees. V'cheftzo, in Hashem's will be tiyosam el gvul ha'havaya, that they come out into actual creation. It happens because the Eibishter wanted it to happen. Sometimes things happen like instantly, like wild trees that grow. Anyone did anything? Anyone did it? They planted? They did anything? No, it just grew. A person can get rich because he was walking and he tripped on a box of gold. He did anything? He made a keli. He worked, made a job, started a business. Garnish get done. He's walking. And plutzlin. It came from the Eibishter. Mil Maila, he didn't have to do anything. It happened on its own. V'asheni, and together with that, or alternatively, Sibois umitzuim. There are causes. There are midway. There are pathways. Mehem kroivim, some of them very close. Umehem rechoikim, and some of them distant. Sometimes it takes a lot of steps till it happens. Mehem niglim, some are clear and visible. Mehem nistorim, some are hidden. But kulam rotzim, they are all running. They are all heading. Lahashlim ashenigzar havayosoi v'heirayoisoi be'ezer likim lehem alzeh. They're all going towards what the Eibishter decreed and wants to happen. So they're bringing out what the Eibishter wants to happen to this person. So it's a combination of the Ratzin of the Eibishter, and sometimes that happens automatically. And then there's the Keli, the Siba, the cause, the things that need to be done so that the koyach of the Eibishter, the Ratzin of the Eibishter, comes out into the open. What does it mean, a cause that's close, not so far away? That means taking out water from a well. There's water there. You lower down the bucket. With these utensils, these vessels, these pails that take out the water from the well. You're thirsty. So sometimes you're thirsty. You go, you take water, and you got water. You didn't have too much work to do. You had to do something. You had to roll it down, pick it back up, put it on the water fountain, and you got water. Not too many steps. But then, sibasei harachoika, a distant cause would be ha'adam, the person. Shehu koisher habehema lagalgal. Sometimes, in order to get the water up, you need to have this thing turning, and this in turn moves other things and makes the pressure, and however it works. And how do you get this round thing, this mill, whatever, to turn? You attach animals to it, and the animals go, right? People are not going to sit there. You put the animals, and they keep walking, and they create the pressure. So the person has to attach the animals. That means you have to set it up. This is already, you're not just walking over to a pit and turning on water. You have to set it up so that you'll have water. Umeniyasoi, you make it moving. Lahaloi samayim mitachtiyei saber el pnei aretz, to lift up the water from the deep pit until the top of the earth. So the furthest away is the person who's setting it up. The closest is the water coming up. All those middle steps, mitzuim bein shnei advarim, that are in between the two extremes. You have the animals, those wheels, sheminiak tzosam es tzosam, that are being turned, moved. Vachevel, you have the rope. Now, all of those things have to work in sync for you to get the water. If the rope snaps, the animal dies, the thing cracks, any of that happens, you don't have what you need. Because there's so many steps that has to work out. Im yikre pega, if something wrong is going to happen, la'achas min asibos hanisgaros, to one of these above mentioned causes, lo yigamer inyan ha'mechuven behem, then what you wanted to happen is not going to end up happening. So at the end of the day, even when you're putting in work, you're dependent on the Eibishter that your work will happen. They go hand in hand. On one hand, you have to haBitachon the Eibishter. On the other hand, you have to put in work. Even the smallest work he's going to mention soon. Someone serves you, puts food on the table in front of you. Now what? You have to eat it. Well, you can bring the animal to the water. You can't make a drink. You have to do it yourself. So there still needs to be work on your part. But at the same time, there's small work, there's many steps of work, and for that you need to make you need to have it. The Eibishter is going to work it out. Like the example that he brings with all these steps to get the water. If something cracks in the middle, breaks in the middle, you don't have it. Or all other actions that come out into actuality. Cannot happen just by a person with his fellow. It has to be decreed by the Eibishter and preparing the causes. Asher bohen higamram. That with them, you'll be able to carry it out. So understand there's two things here. There's the keli, the effort that you have to put in, and together with that, there's the relying on the Eibishter. K'may Sha'ar, like it says, v'loi niskenu alilos. To Hashem, the alilos are like the causes. Niskenu are counted, are set up. Hashem arranges all the steps of the cause. V'amar gedol ha'etza. Hashem is the great one with eitzis. V'rav ha'alilia. And alilia means to make it happen. The Eibishter carries it out. V'amar ki hoysa siba me'im Hashem. A cause came from Hashem. V'imtiena asibos ne'adoris b'chlal. And if the causes will be lacking, it won't happen. Even the natural things that should happen will not be completed without Hashem making it happen. When we look at the needs of a person, let's take an example that where it goes hand in hand, where it all comes from the Eibishter, but at the same time, the person has to put in effort, has to make a keli. So let's look at the needs of a person. That he has to make a cause, that he has to do something in order to complete it. We can see it clearly. Hungry, he needs food. The food is placed before him as he deserves it, as it's appropriate for him. If you're not going to do something, you're not going to put in the effort to eat it. By lifting it up to your mouth, the lo'asoy, and chewing it. Your hunger will not be broken. You can have all the food you want. Or someone is thirsty for water. I heard a story many years ago from Label Groner. He came here in Montreal. Was Yud Shvat Shnasa Chamishim. What year was that? Tafshin Samach, Samach Aleph. So he said a story that happened with himself. He probably repeated it other times too. It was Hanukkah one year. It was around Hanukkah time one year. It was winter. Kislev, and he wasn't feeling well, but he wasn't going to stop working. He kept coming into the Rebbe until the Rebbe told him, "You don't look well. Did you go to the doctor?" He said, "No, I didn't go. Why not?" So the Rebbe said, "Don't come back without going to the doctor." So he goes to the doctor, and he had an infection. The doctor gave him some antibiotics, and he came back to the Rebbe. Next time he came back to the Rebbe asked him, "What did the doctor say?" He told the Rebbe, "Infection, gave him antibiotics." The Rebbe told him, "Antibiotics, it's a moiridik thing." The Rebbe says, "Stel sich vor, you put the antibiotics on the shelf, and 3 times a day you go over to the antibiotics and you say, Hoi Godol, Hoi Giber, wow, a miracle drug." Penicillin was the miracle drug. People who died of simple infections. Wow, an amazing drug. And you do that 3 times a day for 10 days. What's going to happen? Nothing. It's not enough to have the medicine. You have to take it. You have to use it. You have to eat it. The Rebbe said, it's like Hanukkah. What happened Hanukkah? They didn't have any oil, so they all searched for oil. You can imagine how many people were searching for oil. They needed fresh oil. And finally they found one. The Rebbe said something to the effect of, what do you think they would do today with that jug of oil? If that story happened today, what would they do with that jug of oil that they found after so much effort? They'd put it in a museum so everyone could see the jug of oil. But then we wouldn't have Hanukkah. The only reason we have Hanukkah is because they didn't take this oil and put it on a pedestal. They used it. They used it all to a miracle. The Nikud is, it's not enough to just Eibishter sends it, say good. No, you have to actually put in the effort. You have to do something. It's the same thing. Food isn't going to help you unless you eat it. That's the simplest step. The food is put in front of you, and the only thing you have to do is eat it. What happens, Kolshkein, for sure, you don't have food. You have the ingredients. You have to prepare the food. So then you have more effort you have to put in. Right? If the food is there, you at least have to eat. The food's not there. Tchimna, you have to grind it. Lisha, you have to knead it. Afi, you have to bake it. That's work that you have to put in. So that's another step. That's if you have all the food. And what happens if you don't have it? The yoiser gilgul mizan, there's more work and effort that a person has to put in. The kasha, and it's more difficult. If he also needs to buy it, and prepare it. That's with the understanding that what? Hast Geld. If you need to buy it, but you have money. So now the only thing you have to do is go schlep sich to the store and buy. Some people like it. It gives you something to do. But it gets too much. Schlep, you also have to do that. What happens if you don't have money? You can't just walk into the store. So then, if he doesn't have money, that he's going to acquire it with, and now he needs even more work. What does he have to do? He has to go work and earn money. He has to go earn money. Or he has to sell something that he has of his belongings. So at the end of the day, we have to work. We have to put in effort. That's the way the Eibishter set it up. We can't just sit back and expect that everything is going to get done for us. The Eibishter set it up that we have to put in the effort. Why? Okay, we have Gzeres HaKos. We brought Hashem and all that you do. And he's here discussing that there's going to have to be an ilav, a siba, a cause. So a little, a lot, you have to put in effort. But the shaila is farvas. Why? Ubefrat, the Eibishter is good. Teva toiv lehetiv. The nature of good is to do good. Why does the Eibishter have to put it? Let us sit back on the couch and have everything we need. And we can sit and learn Torah all day, do Torah, what the Eibishter wants, and I don't have to work. I don't have to spend most of my day trying to figure out the whole life. Tirdas aparnosa is a big strain and a big amount of time that a person has to do. Why? Why does a person have to put in Tirdas aparnosa? The Eibishter should just set it up that it should come easy. So anyway, it's up to the Eibishter. Why do we have to put it in? That's what he asks or discusses, starts discussing right now. The reason. Asher ba'avura, that because of this reason, why did Hashem make that we have to put in work? To get our sustenance and all the other things. To a certain extent, human beings have to put in much more effort than animals. Animals, the Eibishter set it up, Vinishvi, that their food is there with them. They don't have to work, earn money, and then pay money for the food. They need, they go, they attack, they get it. Even the snake, it's brought down. The Rabbi even quotes a story about it from Sifrei Musar. It's brought down, a snake was cursed. Took away his standing, no feet. After all of that is said and done, all the curses, what is it? What is its parnasa? Afar teichel kol yemei chayecha. The snake has ready-made food wherever it goes. It has afar teichel. People, dafke people, the greatest creations, they have to go struggle to go find a way to make a living. The Rebbe said once, the Rebbe was speaking about haBitachon and parents who want to make sure their kids have to go to college and have to have a degree and have a way that they're going to earn a living. even though it's up to the Eibishter, etc. So Rabbi says in Sifrei Musar, it's brought down that the snake always looks like it's sad. Snake is sad. So go to the snake and they say, why are you so sad? The chal's what you need. Afar is what you need, and it's all over the place. Well, what are you worried about? The snake says, I'm worried what's going to be when I finish all of it. So the Rebbe is saying, you have to have what to worry about. Al Kopanim, you see that the animal has that, and Dafka, human beings, they're the ones who have to struggle and work. Why? So he says, L'shnei panim, there's two reasons. There's two reasons why the Eibishter set that up. And I think we'll continue it next week, Be'ezus Hashem.